Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Ask Sumit version 68 is here today. You can send in your questions. You can send it either on the chat mode here, or better still, send it through our app, PGurus app, and we'll pick them up wherever you have sent them. Today we have a lot of interesting things to discuss. Let's welcome Sumit Pirji. Sumit ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you?
Jai Sri Ram, Radhe Radhe sir, all good and fine by your Ashirwad and Kripa of Lord Mahakal. Namaskar to all the viewers and all the best, because we are going through a very auspicious month of Sawan, and day after tomorrow on Wednesday we'll have this Shivratri of Sawan, which is the second auspicious Shivratri after Mahashivratri. So I want to remind you all in advance, if you have to do your preparations and all, it's day after tomorrow, Wednesday India time.
And regrettably, 19 lives were lost when a plane of the Bangladeshi Air Force, allegedly manufactured by the Chinese, crashed, and our hearts go out to the departed souls. But this is a problem. This is a problem. Again and again, Chinese stuff is being shown as being defective. So, Sumitji, please shed a little bit more light. What might make what? Is it JF, whatever numbers they have? I'm completely confused. When you put the Chinese name, you please give us the equivalent of where it is inspired from. Was it a Sukhoi? Was it a MiG? Was it a Rafale? Was it an FXX? Over to you.
Namaskar, sir. So in the name of Lord Sree Ganesha, let's do the Sree Ganeshas of this show today. I have been digging around this information because this is strategic. Unfortunately, 19 lives lost, and Om Shanti, we pray for the departed souls. Around more than 50 people are injured, and some of them are believed to be critically injured. And it fell down, unfortunately, on a school, and when the classes were going on. There were kids inside the school, the classes were going on. Unfortunately, the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 pilot also lost his life. Now, what they call it is the F7. Now, basically, if you go back, where does this F7 come from? The prima facie information it comes from China. Chengdu, the Chengdu aircraft manufacturing facility in China. There it is called J7. Now, where does the J7 come from? What you rightly asked the question. J7 is a copy, is a jugaad of MiG-21. So they stole MiG-21 designs from Russia. They made some jugaad out of it and called it J7, and made an export variant, called it F7. There are only a couple of suckers, sorry to use this word, in the world who buy Chinese equipment, and unfortunately Bangladesh is one of the country. Because why do they buy them? Because Chinese lure them, will train your pilots for free, will give you our trainers, will you come to China, send your pilots, you don't need to buy the trainers, and we'll kind of give them, we'll do training for free and all that. Basically, it is all, whatever you find in China, it is copied mostly from Russians. Mostly from Russians. They tried to copy F-35. So far, they have not been able to, but they copied a lot of Russian designs and all. But ultimately, they are this jugaad which end up hampering if they are like coffins in the air. Now, incidentally, the point here to be noted is a couple of important points, is that in 2013, they stopped the production of J7 in China and shut down the factory, the plant or the assembly line of it. And in 2013, which is the country which got maximum J7s? Bangladesh. So whatever crap or junk they had left, they had done a sweet deal with Bangladesh, dumped everything, including that garbage shit which should go in a garbage, on Bangladeshis. Yes, sir.
Next time they fly this plane, the Bangladesh Air Force should respectfully request Muhammad Yunus ji to be a co-pilot or be a passenger.
Be a passenger in the plane.
Yeah. Show your confidence. Show your faith.
Dam dikhao. So now when the factory got closer in 2013, all the junk, all the crap, all whatever jugaad, they had just shipped it to Bangladesh, sold it at a dirt price. Now you must be wondering at one thing. Now we know this is an outdated machine. We know it's not even 21 Bison. It's not even 21. It's a jugaad copy of that, with Chinese components and Chinese metallurgy, Chinese allies and all. So you'll be wondering, Sumitji, Bangladeshis are there, they are poor. They bought it, they are stupid, they brought it. But I'll tell you something which you should be really surprised. Even with all the shit this plane is, with all the crap this is, there are 479 approximately planes of J7 still with PLAF. Still with PLAF. Do you believe it? In 2013, the line was shut because it was called crap. But still, when that is where I get deep into the numbers. When PLF, brags, we have 3,500 to 3,800 planes. We have around 1,200 interceptors in all. You know, where do the 279 interceptors broadly come from? J7. Same shit is J7. So almost 20% of the interceptors are J7s, and more than 200 of their trainers, where they say we have 1,000 trainers or 800 trainers, 200, almost 1/4 of that trainers is this, again the same J7, which they export as F7. So if I do a mathematics, out of 3,500, 3,800 planes which China brags they have, approximately 450 to 500 planes are J7. That means 15% of the arsenal to 18% of the arsenal or the flying assets are J7s. And you know how reliable and how good J7 is. I rest my case there. That's why world doesn't give a shit to Chinese arsenal, because they know what they are made of. That is the important point. I've been trying to dig numbers around it and find where does it find it China. I thought, okay, they are only giving it to Bangladeshis, thinking these chaps are poor, they cannot afford anything new. But I was surprised PLF still flies that. And you know which is the country which has maximum air crashes in the world, where maximum fighter pilots have been killed? PLAF, China. More than 2,000 pilots have believed to be killed so far. More than 2,000. No records, nothing, everything concealed. This is the history of, and this is the geography of China. And this is how reliable this equipment is. This is all copied from here, right, left, center, with Chinese components. You know, there was this saying, there was one astronaut, I think, who was the first man who went to the space? Neil Armstrong or somebody? I remember there was a joke about him. He said, you know, when I got into the craft, I was very happy and I was very gun-go, thinking I'll never reach there. When I reached there and when it started coming down, I suddenly realized this craft was assembled against the cheapest bids. So, you know, even though people are really afraid, now you can imagine what PLF is made of. 18% of the arsenal is J7. And if you go deep into that, the skeletons will start really coming out, how much worth the salt the Chinese are. So you were making a point, and I'll continue. You're on mute, sir.
This is a real problem for China. You know, there is a saying in English, when it rains, it pours. So air defense systems, khalas. Planes, khalas. You know, drones, the less said, the better. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking.
Only one thing that is not exposed just is the Chinese Navy. We're going to expose that soon as well. So let them also have a... We talked on I think on Sunday, we talked a couple of what happened when the aircraft carrier reached Hong Kong. I mean, what kind of a mockery everybody saw, what jugaad it has they have put together. You know, those boxes they are trying to put together and those destroyers and all. I think a lot of people miss that show. I would request you go and, you know, watch that show. You're really missing something important. So that is the story of Bangladeshi plane crash. Basically, it is not the Bangladeshi plane crash. It is the fortunes of Chinese military have crashed. The credibility of China have crashed. The credibility of PLF have crashed. Now, I was trying to draw a map. What is the relevance of J7 to an F7? And how F7 and J7 are same, and how still J7 oblique F7 export version is still used in China. So this is one of the things. So I think out of this tragedy, I must say, there was somebody in the air headquarters, Delhi, which will be laughing because knowing that, okay, you know, not a big deal. You know how good these Chinese planes are. So that's the first part of our discussion we're going to talk about. So this is what we talked about. It's a wake-up call for the Pakistan and Bangladesh and everybody in the world who's even thinking of buying Chinese equipment. This is where you end up. Second part of the discussion we're going to have is a very important thing. It comes from Major Adil Raja. He's an ex-ISI guy. He served in Pakistan army. He worked for ISI. He had to run to UK. Now he has become, he runs a couple of things in UK, including a YouTube channel and all. Now this Raja has put some sensational allegations on Asim Munir. He says that Asim Munir has been trying to hunt him down. And obviously he knows a lot of things, Raja, and he has been revealing a lot of things about the Pakistani army, their vulnerabilities, and he says Asim Munir is very, very pissed off. Okay, that far we understand. Now he talks about that Asim Munir uses a very dangerous technique to settle its opponents. The technique which is used is, the first part of the technique is you try to brand everybody as a terrorist. You use the government mechanism and send those dossiers and all to UK or any country, say, look, this man is a terrorist and you should hand him over to Pakistan. So what you do in the meanwhile, you go and start raiding his house in Pakistan. You start harassing their relatives. You start harassing their sisters, whatever. All kinds of those under the belt techniques. You start using them and all. And then you send them a message, go and tell the Raja that, or anybody for that matter, fall in line. It's exactly what Chinese do in China. If a Chinese citizen is out of country, they will go and harass his parents, his brother, his sisters, his grandfather, grandmother, anybody, and send a message to your person that fall in line or do this. This is what has been doing. Story doesn't end here. After you make a point, I'll continue.
Remember that Tata Docomo? Ranbir Singh had a hilarious sets of ads, and he used to poke fun at cell phone company or माए ये ना कभी नहीं लेते एले आलू के पराठे एले मूली के पराठे. So same way now probably China said एले playbook इसको use कर ले.
इसको use कर ले. Even the tactics they are trying to borrow from China. Even they don't have brains of their own. Even those tactics what are trying to borrow for. Now what do they do? Now he has been trying to hunt down this Adil Raja for last year or plus. He tried with the UK government and all, but the fact remains Raja is not a terrorist. You can't make him a terrorist if he's not. So when 𝗓𝗡 Munir looks like the things are really slipping away, what do? They use ex-people of ISI, of Pakistan Army, or the stooges or the funders who are settled in UK, who are settled in US or everywhere, wherever which part of the country is. Here, the part of discussion we're discussing is UK. So what do? They go and file defamation case suits on them. Now, in America and in UK and all, legal systems are very expensive. Lawyers are very expensive. So what do? They drag you through third parties into defamation suits, into legal matters unnecessarily. So at the end of the day, charges may not stick, but harass you, squeeze your money out, disrupt your work, disrupt your mental peace, basically mental or legal harassment. So what do? You manipulate the systems of UK, find a buddy, a stooge there, who will go and put a couple of cases on you, drag you to the court for this reason, that reason, that reason. You end up losing your precious time, your job, your money and all. Then in the end, even if you emerge to be victorious, they say, sorry, okay, Mr. Raja, you won. But ultimately, the person is just an alibi or the friend for 𝗓𝗡 Munir. So what 𝗓𝗡 Munir has also stolen this playbook idea from Chinese, wherein Chinese use the democracy of a country to manipulate the democracy to work against the country. Exactly that is what the 𝗓𝗡 Munir is doing. So these people have started going to all kinds and levels to cover their failures, to cover their misdeeds, and Raja knows a lot of things about ISI. So they either want him dead, or they want him to be under so much of legal compulsions and pressures, the man never dares to open his mouth. That is what the bigger game plan of 𝗓𝗡 Munir is. This is how even Pakistan operates. And I was surprised that they could even do it in countries like UK and US, and we are all not. So this is something which is mind-boggling to know what is the Munir's UK plan. So this is what he has done. They have identified a lot of people like Raja, and very soon you will see a lot of legal cases and all being filed against them by somebody, some XYZ, तूने मेरी बेटी छेड़ दी, तूने मेरी माँ को hello बोला, something like that. Anything. They just file a legal case and just keep on dragging people to the courts and all. This is what the governments of the day need to understand, and this is what the ISI's UK plan is. This is what 𝗓𝗡 Munir's UK plan is. That's point number 2 we wanted to discuss. Point number 3, we have to talk a lot about Putin, we have to talk about Iran, and we have to also talk about Israel. Sorry, we could not stack in Israel here because there's a limitation of characters. So let's start with Putin first. After Putin, we'll go to Israel, and after Israel, we'll go to Iran because they are linked. Putin is getting aggressive. Putin is not listening to Trump. Putin says, I want to win the war. I have been saying this now. Putin has clearly said, I want to win the war, but my military objectives or my objectives are paramount. I want peace, but not at the cost of my objectives. That is what Putin has to say. Last night, he sent a couple of 100 drones, 400 to 500 drones into Ukraine. He sent a lot of ballistic missiles. We don't know the count. 400 plus drones sent in. I think a couple of them intercepted by Ukrainian Air Force. And a lot of missiles they could not intercept because he says that there were a lot of them are Kinjals. Ukrainians say a lot of them are Kinjals and we could not intercept them. They're very difficult to stop. The devastation in Ukraine is mind-boggling. Ukrainians claim 2 people have died. A couple of them have injured. But when you look into the numbers and when you quote Donald Trump, he says in every week in Ukraine 5,000 people die. He may be right, he may not be right. We don't know. That's what Trump says. But I don't believe you have 400-500 drones hitting every night and a couple of hypersonic missiles, only 2 people are dead. Well, that doesn't look to be the number. And I don't know how is Zelensky claiming he's intercepting the drones. He doesn't have anything to intercept them. Now, this thing continued, and a couple of kindergartens were hit, a couple of things were hit. And the most devastating event happened, Sree sir, when there were a lot of people, there were drone sirens. They ran to a metro station in Kyiv, in the capital. So the metro stations are usually below the ground. I don't know what happened. Russian drones have even hit the metro station. So there were hundreds and hundreds of people stacked in the lowermost platform, that thinking that they'll be safe here. And when the drone started hitting, the roof of the metro station collapsed. And when the roof collapsed, a lot of people are believed to be injured. A lot of people are believed to be missing. That there were flames rising from tracks. Things have gone really, really crazy. Things have gone really, really out of the control. Zelensky is calling about secondary sanctions, but things are not working. Weapons are not reaching Zelensky. What I've been telling you, they will not reach Zelensky because nobody has weapons to give it to him. And what Trump said for 15 days was just to buy face for himself, because he cannot do anything in Ukraine. That is where the problem is. Now Putin has increased ante, though Ukrainians tried to fire a couple of missiles or drones to the Moscow airport. They were intercepted. For some point of time, maybe an hour or two, there was disruptions at the Moscow airport, but it started working again. And now there is supposed to be a meeting which is proposed between Ukrainians and Russians. Putin says, I'm all for meeting, but at the same time, Putin says, look, my military objectives are paramount. What is the Putin's military objective? Whatever land I have taken, I'll not return. NATO should be out of the picture. No talk NATO. If you want to talk NATO, I'm not stopping. Now, honestly, I don't know. Has Trump given him a 50 days notice or a 50 days window to finish whatever he wants to do? Because when I look at it, it looks to me a 50 days window. Over to you, sir.
Just to add to what you said, Ukraine did counterattack, and it is believed that 13 airports in Russia, they had to halt operations for a few hours because the drones were up and about near the airports, and they were not sure if the planes would get attacked if they still landed and took off. So there is some disruption that Ukraine is also able to create. The thing is, this is an unequal warfare. Unfortunately, Zelensky should have thought about this before he jumped into this one. This is being egged by NATO or deep state, you name it, viewers. The bigger problem is something that you're going to see as the global financial reset happens. I've been telling you all what the global financial reset means for Europe, because Europe needs a war so that it can tell all the people who are holding deposits, oh, we don't have any more money to pay your deposits. We have to use it for defending you.
Defending you.
So this is what they want to try and do. And I'm sorry to say this thing, but poor Ukrainians, they are in a big mess. Actually, they are very wonderful people. Their science, pakka, funde are very good, because I've worked with them. We've done some software products. Everybody, tithar bithar bolte hai na Hindi mein, like everybody is scattered. I don't know how many are still alive even. I was working with them till 2022, and it's sad because the products, all those products have to be gutted, millions of dollars wasted because even the source code has gone missing. Very sad. All I'm saying is, for the armed Ukrainian, this has not been a good war, is all I wanted to say. Let's continue on. Very, very sad. Over to you.
Now, the retaliation of UK, what I was looking at, the retaliation of Ukraine has been, they've been trying to now hit the Moscow's airports around Moscow and all. There are two major airports in Moscow. They've been trying to hit them, and a couple of airports in the vicinity. Now, the problem here is that if you keep on hitting the airports, and if God forbid there is a bigger accident, let's say you hit a plane in the air, landing or taking off, let's say few hundred Russians die, Putin is going to go mad. And unfortunately, the Zelensky is handing over the license to kill to Putin. Putin doesn't have the license to kill. He doesn't have the license to go for mass destruction. But even, let's say you shoot down a couple of his planes with passengers, will exactly kill him what Putin is looking. He is looking to use Oshniks and dismantle Ukraine. Now, if that key is handed over by Zelensky by doing these stupid acts, it will come. Trump is really, really worried. Trump is saying, look, I don't like all this. I don't want cities to be bombed. I don't want to switch on the television and look that cities are bombed. I don't want this. But my problem is that I can't do much right now, because you know why. Even NATO can't do much. We know why. NATO has been proposing you give your weapons to Zelensky. Americans will send you the new weapons. Nobody's interested in that. Says, look, sorry, sir, we are not working. And there's another problem in Europe, which we are going to talk right now. He said, look, we are not walking that route. Now, the challenge here is that has some weapons been given to the Zelensky which can hit up to the Moscow airport? Because last I checked, Zelensky did not have those weapons which can go far up to
long
Moscow.
distance was not given. Long distance was not given. Yeah.
Now, we don't know, Sree sir, what hit Moscow or we disrupted the Moscow airports. Was it a drone or is it a missile? If this was a drone, I think they will have some finite capability of drones. But if this was a missile, Ukraine's never had that missile. And if that missile has already hit Moscow, now Putin will be looking to retaliate at a much bigger level. And my prediction has been every night he will send 500 drones. And that's what exactly he's doing. 500 drones, couple of missiles, 500 drones, couple of missiles. And he's very adamant now. He's saying, look, I'm not going to back off. I want my military objectives to be met. So while this all is happening in the Europe, there is one more thing which Europe is bracing up for, adding on to what you have said. Europe believes now that the trade deal with the United States of America is not happening. Europe wanted less than 10% tariff. Europe wanted some things to be taken out of tariff. What the Americans are telling them, because the Europe had a very good equation for themselves, trade surplus with America and trade deficit with China. So Trump said, look, buddies, that can't happen. You must have an equal trade with me and with China. But I can't be funding your trade and you lose it to China. In a way, then I'm helping China. That is the Trump's fundamental problem with Ukraine. Now the tariff things are not working, she said. These Ukrainians, Europe is talking to them. Now Trump has said, if 1st August, we don't cut a deal, 30% tariff. 30% tariff will mean at least 24 to 45 billion dollars of loss for Ukraine, for the European Union. And European Union, if they retaliate, they have to kind of do a retrospective tariff, which will mean another 72 billion dollars of loss for America. But Trump says, if you put the retrospective tariffs on me, I'm going to put the tariff again. So maybe from 30, I'll make it 60. So, and now they are really calibrating their things with China. China is also under tariff. So Europe is going, what you rightly said, is really going for a tailspin. There are a couple of measures they are talking, but you complete your point, then I'll come to that.
Yeah, so the actual surplus that Europe has, EU with the United States, is $228 billion. I put out a video today morning, viewers, about what Trump is trying to do, especially with the liquefied natural gas. LNG markets in Europe, he is trying to basically push Russia out and get them to buy US liquefied natural gas, and he thinks that can cut into that deficit. So this is a very detailed video, 10 minutes or so. Do watch that one to get the actual situation. So all these are going towards that new equilibrium, if you will, 5% of GDP towards building defense arms, and US in turn will sell those 5% arms, and NATO becomes a little bit more self-sufficient because their armament industry also will start picking up. These are high-end weapons, right? So we'll wait and see. But this is all that points to one thing, that they are trying to get to a point where they can make a deal that both can claim victory out of. Over to you, sir.
Now, what Europe thinks, they have this instrument of cohesion. This instrument of cohesion is a thing which they can use at the time of extreme conditions. They can really choco-block American interest and American goods into the Europe. Now, what I'm hearing, but the reports are also out, France is very much pushing for that. But Germany is reluctant. UK is not a part of EU anymore. Germany is reluctant. Spain is reluctant. Italy is reluctant. They don't want to use it. And Giorgia Meloni has been very vocally talking about, look, these trade deals are not going to help America. These trade wars are not going to help Europe. Let's come to a table and agree to something. But what I'm reading today from almost a done deal, on done deal with EU, now the latest trend, what we are picking up today is that they are preparing for those retrospective measures. Now, Ursula von der Leyen has said that, look, we are waiting for the 1st August, how the things shape up. Trump has already said 30%. I'm not going to increase the deadline. So we are already where? We are on 21st. 9 days more to go, 30%. Now, can Europe trade with America at this 30%? Answer is no. How many billion dollars of trade is lost? Maybe around $50 to $100 billion of trade will be lost. Where will that trade go to? That will go to everywhere, including China. Maybe a part of it will come to India. And what is UK doing? UK is the smartest of all. UK is trying to has cut a deal with America, and UK is trying to cut a deal with Modi ji. Modi ji is in UK tomorrow. So he has invited Modi ji, and 99%, you'll see before the July end, UK, British, India and UK's FTA will be signed. Some $30 to $40 billion of trade I'm talking here. It will be signed. So when the whole of EU is going like headless chickens, UK has aligned itself with US and UK has aligned itself with India. So here, Labours are trying to improve their image. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is saying, look, Labours are not about destructiveness, but also about economy, and we also understand economy. So 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is trying to do an image whitewash, which is okay for UK, but they are trying to align their economies very fast. Now, there is a tug of war between EU and UK, because EU doesn't want to be copying UK. UK says, okay, you go to hell, I'll cut my deals, you all go to hell. That is what is happening. So it will be interesting to see. But if this happens, the problem is, where will you find 5% of the money to give to NATO? Will you find a 5%? Where will the 5%? Can your economies afford 5%? Your growth is 1%, 0.5%, 0.7%. If you're growing at 1%, can you afford to cut 5% of your GDP for general growth? No, you can't afford that. That is a simple logical thing. So things are going to get a bit crazy here. And what Sree sir was telling you, and he may say, okay, bhaiya, no money. It might end up there. So, and this is how the back and forth is going. So it's a bit of a thing which is getting a bit crazy, and Putin is getting completely unchecked, because Putin realizes Europe doesn't have financial strength, Europe doesn't have military strength. So why should he listen to Trump? That's why I'm saying, is this 50-day warning, or is it a window? I can have a full debate with anybody on this. Is it a warning or a window? Because I believe it's a window. I'm now looking at what is happening around us. And there are a lot of things I can't put into this program because that is not the subject. I believe it's a window. Bhai kar lo. We have 15 days, sell whatever you want to do. That's what I look at it. You are making a point, sir.
Yeah, Russia also has one problem, viewers. They're running out of army. They keep saying that our population wants to sign up. But see, if you have to have an army, the army has to have a certain age bracket, 18 to 25, 18 to 30. These are the ones who are going to march on the ground and secure the ground for you, which is what Russia wants. And for that, they've already gone to North Korea. Why would a North Korean soldier come and fight for Russia here? Then I think you mentioned it, right? For every 10 North Korean soldiers, you have to have one interpreter.
One interpreter.
I mean, this is not a solution. And North Koreans are not exactly known for their bravery on the battlefield. Maybe they have not fought many wars. But point is, poor guys, why are you making them fodder for occupying land? That's not going to work for long. Once in a while, you can send a few people to make some token gesture, because Russia wanted to pull North Korea from out of China's orbit and into its own, and that it has accomplished now.
It has done.
Right. No. So but it's not easy going for Russia either. I don't know why Russia is trying to do this thing. At the end of the day, it could be what is called as a Pyrrhic victory, Pyrrhic. That means a victory that comes at great cost.
Correct.
So this is where it is headed, I'm afraid. He needs to cut his losses and sit down on a bargaining table. Just take Luhansk and Donetsk and be happy. That's it. Over. You already have Crimea. Three Russian-speaking regions are with Russia. Finish. Leave everything else.
Call it a day.
Over to you.
And the problem here is, sir, if the only caveat here is, if his airports get hit and if a plane gets hit, you will give Putin and license to kill. I think Zelensky and Ukrainians have to be very careful on that. He has a lot of Auschwitz lying with him, and he wants to really use them, because he's not scared of Trump. He's not scared of NATO. He knows they don't have arsenal. He knows that they can't do anything right now. So for Putin also, the window is short. Whatever he has to do in these days. That is what my take on this is. Now let's go to another subject. Another interesting subject is Israel and Iran and EU bluff. Now, there is one very important revelation which has come up. We looked at it, we debated it, we talked about it. Look, we said these Bedouins and Druze are fighting, both are militias. Now, this fight is 400 years old. Suddenly, these Druze people call a meeting in Jerusalem and ask Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, Syrian army is coming, that is Julani's militia. I don't call them army. Julani's militia is coming and helping these Bedouins. Can you kind of help us? What Bedouins have done, they have tried to do ethnic cleansing of the Druze people. They have kidnapped their women. They have slaughtered their children. They have done everything what the typical Islamic jihadist forces do. Now, then we came to know Benjamin Netanyahu ordered a hit. He ordered a hit on the headquarters of the 𝗤𝗏𝗍 next to his palace, wherein his palace's window panes got shattered. Now, I have been wondering, why would Benjamin Netanyahu go and hit his palace? Oh, he wanted to send a message, he wanted to show 𝗤𝗏𝗍. 𝗤𝗏𝗍 came and said, I'm not scared and all. There were even rumors 𝗤𝗏𝗍 has fled Syria. But again, he has surfaced. But then Trump intervened, he tried to do the ceasefire and all. Now suddenly Americans are seeing some of the American senators or some of the Trump's people, and on the basis of anonymity, are saying this, Bibi is a madman. He wants to bomb people. He wants to bomb here and there, and he wants everybody bomb. We don't like it. Trump wants peace and all. But there is a fundamental disconnect here. Two disconnects I want to talk. First disconnect is, why did Trump attack? Why did Netanyahu bomb the HQ? I'll tell you the answer. Basically, one important revelation which has come today is that 𝗤𝗏𝗍 had let, so far we knew, only the army of 𝗤𝗏𝗍 was going and helping Bedouins to crush Druze. And the women and all kidnapped is true, by the way. Now, we have come to know 𝗤𝗏𝗍 had sent tanks to help Bedouin people and use them against Druze people. But the problem is, Druze community is into Syria, it's into Israel also, a part of into Lebanon also. Now, where is the Druze? Druze is on the northern side of Israel. Yeah, and it's near the Golan Heights. So basically, that area is non-militarized zone, right? Now, for Benjamin Netanyahu, if my tanks have started venturing near the non-militarized zone, I have told you, keep away from the non-militarized zone. So how do I know if you send your tanks to Druze or you move them to Israel? No, I come at a T. Do I go straight or do I move towards the Israel? I can do anything. From there, Israel is hardly 20 minutes away. So Benjamin Netanyahu is not mad. He is not crazy. When he saw tanks being mobilized towards the non-militarized zone, though he has kind of moved his traffic, he was smart. He has already moved his troops into the buffer zone already, and Israeli tanks are also there. So what did they? They ordered IDF to hit. So what did IDF hit? IDF hit all those tanks, which we come to know today. Before that, it was not clear where the tanks hit or not. Then they went and hit his military headquarters to send a message. So if somebody thinks Benjamin, I was not able to recollect, why did he hit the military headquarters? I had my own reasons. Why did he hit? There was also a mistake that Israelis unfortunately hit a church inside Gaza, and a lot of Catholic people and a lot of Christians got worked out around it. But Israeli said it's a mistake. Israel does not apologize. And for that particular incident, Israel apologized in writing. So it was a mistake for all purposes. Now, when the tanks were hit, so Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel cannot take chances. He kind of dismantled the 𝗤𝗏𝗍's tanks, and he went and then attacked his HQ. Now, when Trump wakes up and he says, Trump says, I don't know. I was not informed. I'm not aware of that. I don't know who authorized this. Now, Trump's problem is, people say, oh, look, he was very unhappy. He doesn't love to open the TV and see people killing each other. I want peace. That's fair enough. Good, great. But the problem is that Trump is a businessman. He sees everything from a perspective of business, deal, opportunity, money, and profit. Now, he sees there are two things in Syria. One is there is oil in Kurdistan. Second thing, he sees that there's a multi-billion dollar, hundreds of $billion of opportunity to rebuild Syria, where the money from World Bank, IMF, ADB, and a lot of people are there, of institutions are there who can lend this money to rebuild that. So these are looking towards that. Jordan partially is looking into that. UAE is looking into that, and Americans and French are looking into that. Those hundreds of billions are rebuilding opportunities. So they want to give you a facade or impression 𝗤𝗏𝗍 is the man who has made Syria stable and everything is good. Conceptually, Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump don't agree on that. This has been their bone of contention from the very beginning, because Israel 𝗥𝗙 believes that 𝗤𝗏𝗍 is a terrorist who is only wearing a suit and a tie, but he's a terrorist. Now he calls himself Ahmad al-Shahara, whatever. Shahara is 𝗤𝗏𝗍, basically a terrorist who has killed for ISIS, who has killed for Al-Qaeda. So that is what 𝗤𝗏𝗍 is. Now, Israel is not comfortable with that. This man into power, America says hundreds of $billions of building opportunities and oil. Okay, money to be made. Everybody cool your heels. But for Israel, he says if 𝗤𝗏𝗍 becomes powerful, there are two things can happen. Either he can become a Khamenei because he can always grow the size of his beard, or he can become a Saddam Hussein, which both the types is a problem for Israel. So when he started sending troops, it is believed this was a ploy. Basically, this Druze conflict was inflated, was infected on Druze, and Bedouins, so that by the virtue of in the smoke screen of the helping Bedouins, he wanted to move his tanks very, very near to Israel. Can he do it? Being a terrorist, having that kind of a mindset, he can do it. But for a Trump, he's a businessman. He wants money. He smells money everywhere. And I don't know how long can a typical businessman run America. Now, on the contrary, whom is he dealing with? He's dealing with 2-3 people here. He's dealing with Putin. What is Putin? He's a military man. He's ex-KGB, trained to kill. What is Benjamin Netanyahu? Benjamin Netanyahu is a commando, again a military man, trained to kill. And who is Giuliani? Again a terrorist who believes in killing innocent people. So it's a very classical paradigm what we are seeing here. So the 2 people he's trying to handle, forget Zelensky is a comedian. Here is a ex-KGB agent and who has risen up the ranks. You know, it's not easy. And here is an ace commander of the IDF. And his brother, who was unfortunately killed in the ADB, was leading the operations. So Benjamin Netanyahu, commando, here you have a KGB agent, here you have a businessman turned into a president. So there is a classical paradigm. So this man wants deals and money and peace and all. These 2 people see everything from a military and security perspective. So there is a triangle of deception, what I call. There's a triangle of deception, which is, I see it from my perspective. Hundreds of billions of dollars of building opportunities, oil, good. Let's have peace. Let's make money. But Benjamin Netanyahu, his mind is military. He thinks like a commando. They're going to come and screw my happiness. Let me kill them today. Putin, again, let me kill them today. I don't want to take a chance. So this is where the perspectives are changing. And none of them is a typical politician. You're not a typical, none of them is a typical politician, right? They have all risen to power due to what I think still Benjamin Netanyahu is a typical politician, but Putin is an undisputed king, and Trump is still a trader who thinks who can cut deals, and I think his 90% of the time is taken by tariffs. So again, where the Americans are heading, how will the relation with Israel end up, and how long can world take tariffs and all, this is again becoming a big question mark. I think Trump should stop behaving like a businessman all the time. He should start behaving like a president, and he should get over these, tariffs and hand it over to one of his ministers and say, look, buddy, you handle it. If you have anything, come to me, because these conflicts cannot be solved by trade and tariffs. Now, if you want, now Trump always says, oh, I told Pakistan, oh, stop this war, otherwise I'll stop business with you. What is your business, Mr. Trump, with Pakistan? $7.3 billion. That is pocket change of Mukesh Ambani. $7.3 billion. What trade are you talking about, sir? You're a $29 trillion economy. $7 billion. Is it what President of America or United States is bothered about? Sorry, I can't fathom this thought. Even if I'm maybe your best of your fan, but I can't take this $7 billion for Pakistan. Why are you wasting your time? So likewise here, these are Islamic radicals. They have these Islamic agendas and interests, and there are Jews who want to protect themselves, and there's a Putin who's an ex-KGB man who doesn't want NATO in his doorstep. So there are some fundamentals which have to be put straight here. You can go and have talks in Istanbul, you can have talks here, you can have talks on the Mars in an Elon Musk rocket, but nothing is going to come out of them, because last time when Russians and Ukrainians met, I think after an hour they were all gone off. They said, we don't want to talk to each other. Now, what has Iran? So after that, so I explained you, because a lot of people ask me, why did this all happen? So I thought, let me pull this up a bit and explain you the whole canvas. Now after that, let me go to the last part, Iran's EU bluff. Oh my God, these Iranis are too much. I don't know anybody who's more of a Kabelian than now. Now Iran is saying, look, I don't want to talk to America. I want to enrich the uranium. My nuclear uranium enrichment is there, and there are already credible information which is out, which IEA is dodging, because IEA has put neither a red flag nor a green flag. They have put an orange flag. Wait and watch and go. It says that Isfahan, there's all possibility of the radiations are leaking, or the site is 101% contaminated. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody is naming about it. While the site, there's a strong problem in that site. And with all those radiation fiascos going up, a kind of a Chernobyl happened, because the point is, when the sites got attacked, as per American intelligence, and article carried by Washington Post on 18th July, what does it say? Americans attacked live nuclear sites. So if there's an abandoned nuclear site, you can attack it. The implications will be this. There's a live site, the implications can be this. So when you attack a live site, 99% chance it is contaminated or radiation is leaking. So even further, you can be sure, because it's buried under rock, a lot of rock. But with Isfahan, it's not so deep into the soil. Netons, again debatable. So you might be talking of a slow killer which is somewhere buried there and it might come up now. So what is that? They're talking we will enrich uranium again. So if they try to enrich the uranium again, if they try to enter, approach the centrifuges and all, what will you do? You will make a passage, right? The problem is I've been reading a lot around this, sir. If you make a passage, whatever is entrapped there that passage might be the way for that to come out. And we are looking at a very big fiasco. What Iran is doing, I will go and talk to the Europe now, because Europe has sanctions which they can implement on them. And he said, let's talk to the Europe now. I'll send my deputy foreign minister. And the sanction, and Europe has told them, if you don't agree on a permanent agreement by August end or 1st of August, I can't remember the date, it's 1st of August, we'll impose those sanctions on you. And what does Iran say? If you impose those sanctions on me, I am walking out of everything. So Iran will become a black box where you don't know it's a radiation leaking. We don't know they have contaminated sites, where you have no idea. And let me tell you, General Michel Corella had proposed Trump, let's go and attack. Give us a week. We'll dismantle all the sites of Iran so that Iran can never ever build a nuclear bomb again. And Michel Corella was of the view that let's use bunker busters on Natanz and Isfahan both. Why? Because we want to make sure, Mr. President, nothing is left to chance. What did Israelis use? They used GBU 27 PAV3 and GBU 28, not GBU 57. Corella was of the view, let's use GBU 57s and all, and there are some peripheral sites, smaller ones. Let's dismantle that so that we are sure that Iran's nuclear program is dismantled for all. But that wasn't Trump say. Trump says, no, I don't want a lot of casualties. I don't want a lot of bloodshed. Whatever you have to do it fast and get rid of 𝗪𝗏, which is logical, because without 𝗪𝗏, the bomb cannot be made. Take 𝗪𝗏 out of the chain, bomb cannot be made. But what have you left behind? Possibly leaking sites, possibly contaminated sites, possibly Iran trying to go and fiddle with them. And if whatever is buried might start coming out. And the disaster might, when we looking at another Chernobyl kind of a situation, which might be brewing there somewhere down the line. And if Iran tries to do something crazy, and Iran is saying, I will still enrich. So I don't know, meeting Europe will help. And Trump is clearly saying that meeting Europeans is not going to help. Yes, Europeans have this option of putting or not putting the sanctions. But again, is 1st August or 31st August, one of that is deadline. So if you put sanctions on Iran, Iran becomes a black box. IE is not going there. And why is IE silent? IE is a part of United Nations. They should be making all the hue and cry, saying, hey guys, we want to go there. We want to make sure everything is right. Is everything right there? When there was alleged attack on Karana Hills, radiation sniffers were in the air. Boron was spread on Karana Hills. A lot of people say onion trucks were dumped around the sites because onions absorb this radioactivity. Why nothing of that has been done? The logic says, I've been reading a lot about it, when the nuclear site, there's an accident or it's hit, whichever way. We call it accident. It might not be internal reason, it might be external vector which caused it a hit. Is a hit, there is a shutdown protocol. Every nuclear site has a shutdown protocol. So I want to ask from PGurus channel, who's following that shutdown protocol? Is a shutdown protocol even initiated in Iran? Answer is no. You had a small accident in Fukushima, you had a big mess around it. All the world media was covering around it. Fukushima, good. But why everybody is silent about the disaster which is brewing in Iran? What the hell do you know is brewing up in Iran? How do you know these sites are really, what are they emitting today? Are we already too late? We have no idea what's happening there. And if this happens, it will become a black box, possibly a radioactive black box. And if another disaster happens in South Asia or in the West Asia, South Asia, it will be Karana Hills. West Asia, it will be Iran. And for Karana Hills, it will be Pakistan who is responsible. And for West Asia, it will be Iran who is responsible. And the problem is, if something goes around your Persian Gulf coast, a lot of disruptions are happening. And what is Iran threatening you? Iran is threatening you, Mr. Europe. If you impose the sanctions on me, what I'm going to do? I am going to block the Strait of Hormuz. I cannot ensure you naval sovereignty. I'll block the Strait of Hormuz. Welcome to the party. Can they block it? Maybe for 72 hours. After that, American Fifth Fleet has to get into action. Does America want this war? No. Will America has to fight this war? Possibly yes. So things are getting complex. So when we reach August, I swear to God, I really don't know what will be in place, what will not be in place. This is how the world around us is moving. And I love this program to be for 2 hours, but it is not. So I have to end my thoughts here and my analysis here.
Thank you so much, 𝗤𝗎𝗍. And if you remember when the Operation Sindoor was paused, the Indian Navy was chomping at the bit. He said, give us a chance and we'll break this up and so on. You know why? My analysis of that is, it is believed that near the Karachi airport, there were 2 Chinese ships also. And if Indian Navy was given a hand, go and attack all the ports, who knows? Even that would have been exposed. What is there with China? So what I'm trying to tell you is, everything is headed towards the next phase, which is the battle is going to be on the seas.
Absolutely.
And that's what this book predicts, and it's available for sale now in India. And I just want to play this, please.
Doors of India's top research labs, some of the brightest minds are being eliminated, one by one. No clues, no witnesses, scientists vanishing without a trace, and those who survive remember nothing. As India, part, races towards self-reliance in nuclear submarine technology, the clock is ticking, and the enemy is closing in. China and Pakistan, sworn adversaries, have joined forces. Their mission? To destroy India's dreams from within. As the nation lurches from crisis to crisis, the Intelligence Bureau is called in, and when all else fails, India turns to its best. Enter 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗡, field operative, sharp, relentless, deadly. And 𝗏𝗏, cyber warfare specialist, the mind behind the mission. Together, they uncover the enemy's most diabolical plan yet, a plot to turn Quad allies against each other during high-stakes naval exercises in the Bay of Bengal. To stop the betrayal, they launch Operation Bhasmasur, a mission that will take them deep into enemy territory, where failure is not an option. But can they outwit the world's most ruthless enemies? From Sree Iyer comes an edge-of-the-seat thriller that will leave you breathless. This is Operation Bhasmasur.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, sir. And we really would appreciate it if you can place the orders now. We are getting ready to ship it. So this is important because this is what's going to happen next. And very, very clear. And let's just say that China has been building for this for about 10, 15 years. They claim that they have more ships than even the United States. Did you know that, sir?
Yeah, I know. But sir, एक हिंदी में कहावत है, 100 कुत्ते मिलके भी शेर का शिकार नहीं कर सकते.
Now give us the equivalent in English.
Even 100 dogs cannot hunt a tiger. That's what it is about.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's take some questions now. An average Hindu, thank you so much. India should help Bangladesh Hindu like Israel helping Druze.
101% agreed. There's no doubt on it.
Next one, please. Chicken's neck could become elephant's trunk, is what I heard.
Permanent solution, sir.
Yeah.
Permanent solution.
Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaste ji, how is it that the bonhomie between Trump and Putin has suddenly nosedived? Contrary to Trump's initial utterances, all conflicts have intensified. Strategy failure, changes due?
I think this is also part of the strategy, Ranga sir. That is what I've been saying. Is the 50 days of warning or is the 50 days of window? What looks to me, looking at all the situations and calculating all and calibrating all the information, it looks to me it's a 50 days window. Trump is only posturing, oh, I'm going to do this, he's not going to do anything. So he has given Putin 15 days, settle this up, finish this up. I'm not going to intervene. I'm going. And what did he smartly do? He said, NATO pay money. He said, okay, your EU pay the money. They're not paying the money to him. And even if they pay the money, where are the weapons to be shipped? What he has said, made General Root say, okay, UK, Poland, why don't you give your weapons to Zelensky? Americans will make the money. Once they get the money, will make the weapons and give it to you. Who the hell is going to do that? Come on, Mr. General Root. Nobody is stupid to do that. You have Putin knocking your door. So it's a big drama which is going on, in my opinion.
Next one, please. Ravi Shankar wants to know, sir, why the hot temperature, dams collapses and rain havoc in China is not getting reported in mainstream media?
Well, the problem is that too many dams they have built, sir, and these dams were built like those madmen's obsession, like they're trying to build one near Tibet and all that. So the construction of the dams is not good. There are a lot of places where dams should not have been there. This year, the China has a lot of rains. Usually you get it every, but this year it is believed to be a lot of natural changes are happening in China. And these dams are kind of falling apart. And if you remember, 2 or 3 years back, there was a devastating flood in Pakistan. It's believed 140 or 170 dams or those barrages were broken. You know who built the contract was given to FW, Forward Works Organization. They outsourced it to the Chinese contractors on commission. So basically, all the dams built by China were broken, and that's why Pakistan got devastating floods, which Pakistani media will never write or talk, but we can. So this is what is happening in China. Karma pays back. Karma is always true.
𝗏𝗡𝗻 wants to know, should India make chicken's neck into an elephant neck, or will this annoy USA? Because we know India is capable to take over Dhaka in 1 week.
We should do anything and everything that is in our supreme national interest. We don't give a damn to what world thinks, feels, or believes. They have to live with the reality. I don't like a lot of things in the world. What can I do? Go and kill myself. And go and do it.
Next one, please. Sree Iyer wants to know, how is it that the whole world has turned a blind eye to Tibet genocide by China and not recognizing Tibet sovereignty and right to exist like Jews? Will this ever change?
This will only change when India starts taking it up first. India has to be the flag bearer of this, though we have done a lot. You see, Dalai Lama ji is here. We celebrated his 90th birthday. Kiren Rijiju was there. We did what we had to do in Myanmar, right? And there's a government of exile for Tibetans here. But I think we have to be very aggressive vis-a-vis Tibet. We in America have to get on consensus. We have to give a ditch to this one China policy. We have to unanimously declare we are not following this one China policy. Secondly, we have to be seen closing up to Taiwan, having the embassy in India, giving them the weapons they need. And that is how this will happen. And you know what Prema Kunduji said, I like the man, our Arunachal CM. He said, we have a border with Tibet, not China. And that is what it should come from, not state chief ministers. I would love when Dr. Jaishankar will say that. And that will be the day I'll be, कहते हैं ना हिंदी में एक टांग पे नाच, I'll be dancing on my one leg. That is what it should happen. I will look for a day when Dr. Jaishankar says, we have borders with Tibet, not China.
Milburn wants to know, I have heard that when businessmen go to China to make any product because it's cheap to do it there, the CCP sets honey traps and steals their copyright by blackmail. Is this true?
CCP will by default get you into copyright, this honey traps. Honey traps in China is the least you can expect, least. And womanizing for Chinese is like trying, a dal makhni and a dal tadka. It's as simple as that. Masala sambar or a plain sambar. It's as simple as that for them. So they use women as objects. They weaponize women, and women are not treated well in China, let me tell you. And if you don't understand the culture, which a lot of people from India don't understand when they go. So I would always say, whenever you travel, go and understand the culture. When I went to China for the first time, I knew the culture in and out. I mean, every time there's a girl who will tell you, I'll walk you to your room. I say, thank you. Let's go for massage. Let's go. I say, thank you. You want to go out? Thank you. You have to be very, very careful there. And what would I do there? I would not even eat the food what those shabby restaurants will serve. I'll try to find a McDonald's. I'll try to find something, something like that. Eat something there, because I know at least here what I get is something, you can't trust anything there. You can't, and even, and Sree sir, believe me, when I was in China, I used to have that Evian water, the French mineral water, though I could not afford it. But, at least I knew this will be bloody some water. I don't know what else I'll have. So, man, no. This is a brand I know. It is expensive. It is rarely found. There are a lot of things you need to be very, very careful when you enter China about the taxis, the people you go in. You have to understand that place. That place is dangerous. And they will 101% honey trap. 101%. There's no doubt of that.
Babji says, sir, Trump once described India as a filthy country, rightly so. When will this country be free of all those dirt and rubbish everywhere? P.S. I have not thrown anything on the road for 40 years.
I think this is something which the people of the India have to realize, the people of the Bharat has to realize. I think after this Swachh Bharat and all, I think there's some 30-40% awareness is there. I've even seen kids not throwing an ice cream cone or that ice cream stick on the road. It has improved, but there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of things to go. I would request this can be only done. Now, Modi ji did what he had to do. I think you have to leave it to the district magistrates of the country. Make every district magistrate accountable for a deploy a special collector or a SDM only for this duty. I'm giving you the solution. If you have an additional ADM, SDM, who's only supposed to maintain this mission, I can tell you, sir, within 6 months we'll change the shape of this country. And there are a lot of people even who live out of India. And I met a gentleman, Mr. Kapoor. He was very much concerned about this. He said, you know, Sumit, I come from my hometown. My hometown is filthy. Look, I want to do something to clean it. And I've been talking to him what can be done and all. But there are people who are concerned within India, out of India, and elsewhere. And, you know, the only thing is, unless and until politicians get into it, people make it a hue and cry. You know, our culture is I might have a big farmhouse or a koti. Outside my koti, I'll go and conveniently dump all the garbage. Not me. I say a lot of people are still okay to do it. My mohalla can be dirty. My gully can be filthy. It has changed. But unless and until we have this people at the SDM level, an additional district magistrate, who is kind of sub-district magistrate, who is kind of SDM level of a person who is assigned to this, we can't control it. Modi ji did what he had to do. But let's get into macro management now.
Yeah, Trump said this some time ago. I mean, he probably realizes now Manhattan is not much different. It has become filthy too. This is his own house. Trump has a house, big Trump Tower or something like that. There's a big mansion there in Manhattan, downtown Manhattan in New York. It's how we take care of ourselves, and regardless of what others think, why don't we think that we should be clean? We should live clean lives. And what Sumit ji is saying is right. Many of us have become very health conscious and cleanliness conscious now. We don't, like you said, you know, throw outside our gate and outside the fence and keep inside the fence everything clean. No, everybody has now, you know, separated the garbage, and it's all going through. At least wherever I have gone, I've seen a lot of cleanliness. There will be, if it is very crowded place, you will have some problem. But India has to develop. You can't change this thing in overnight. It takes time, but it is happening. Thank you so much, Sumit ji. Now let's take the Ashirwad of 𝗏𝗍𝗏.
On that note, would like you to thank you all, and please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Press on the bell icon, click on all the four, all not personalized, all the four, and do share our videos on your WhatsApp groups. That will be a big favor. On that note, Bharat Mata ki Jai, Vande Matram, Om Namah Parvati Pataya, Har 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 Mahadev.